Hello, my name is Abby, and today I'm going to be talking about are young people being overdiagnosed or finally being taken seriously? So, the purpose of my speech today is to persuade my audience to evaluate whether rising mental health diagnoses in young people are driven by overdiagnosis influenced by social media or by improved awareness and recognition of real struggles, and also just to encourage responsible action in response. While increased mental health in young people has helped many receive support, social media influence and self-diagnosis trends raise important questions about whether some conditions are being over-identified or misunderstood and misinterpreted. In today's world, many teens and young adults can open apps like TikTok or Instagram and instantly be hit by videos that list signs you have anxiety, or you might be autistic if this, or this is, signs of ADHD behavior, things like that. These videos, while yes, they can feel relatable, they also raise an important question. Are we becoming better at recognizing mental health struggles, or are we unintentionally overdiagnosing ourselves and others around us? So, as college students and young adults, just like ourselves, living in a digital age, many of us are constantly exposed to mental health content online. It's worth asking how this is shaping the way we view ourselves and our peers. Over the next couple moments, I will share with you my personal observation of how social media influences mental health awareness, research on both benefits and concerns about youth mental health diagnoses, and practical steps for responding responsibly to mental health information that we take in online. I'm credible on this topic because I have observed how mental health discussions spread through social media, and I've also reviewed research from organizations like the American Psychological Association, as well as other public health institutions. So first, I'll share with you a personal observation of how this issue shows up in everyday life. In high school and college settings, I've noticed how quickly mental health language and topics spread through social media. For example, I've seen classmates or friends relate to videos that they've seen or posts and share them with either me or their Instagram story, their reposts on TikTok, things like that. And they immediately begin questioning whether they have these conditions that they've read about, like anxiety or ADHD, OCD, those types of things. While these conversations can help people feel less alone, they can also create confusion and self-labeling without professional guidance. It becomes difficult to tell when someone is genuinely being concerned about an issue in their life, about themselves, or if they're just relating to trending content. So now that I have shared a personal perspective, I'll explain the broader benefits and concerns supported by research. So our question is, why is this topic so complex? And the answer to that is because both overdiagnosis and increased awareness may be happening at the same time. So that makes it very just confusing to understand and to look at. An increased awareness benefit comes from the American Psychological Association. They explain that social media is not inherently good or bad, but it has increased exposure to mental health language, which can help reduce stigma and encourage people to seek help when needed. So that is a positive. A concern of overdiagnosis and self-diagnosis comes from the U.S. Surgeon General. They report that while social media can offer support, it also exposes young people to harmful content, with teens spending an average of over 3 hours a day online being at a higher risk for anxiety and depression symptoms. Social media and self-diagnosis influences comes from Johns Hopkins Medical Institution. They note that teens are increasingly self-diagnosing conditions like anxiety, OCD, and ADHD after exposure to influencer type of content, and even that happens even when they may not meet the actual clinical criteria. So now that we understand both the perspectives of benefits and downfalls, let's discuss what we can do about it. So you might be asking, what should we actually do with this information? So first, we need to think critically about online content. Not everything online is medically accurate, even if it feels relatable to you. Second, avoid self-diagnosing. Feeling similar to a symptom on a list does not equal clinical diagnosis. Professional evaluation does matter. Third, we need to seek credible sources and professionals. If you are concerned about mental health, talk to a counselor, a doctor, or a licensed therapist. Finally, be mindful of your media consumption. Reducing exposure to constant mental health content can help prevent unnecessary stress or misinterpretation. Taking these steps helps ensure that people who truly need help get it, while also preventing misunderstandings about normal emotional experiences. Benefits of all of these will just further enforce that, and like I said, it will help people get the help that they need and reduce the amount of misinformation. Today I discussed whether young people are being overdiagnosed or finally being taken seriously in the context of rising mental health awareness and social media influence. Specifically, I shared a personal observation, explained research on both benefits and concerns, and then I gave practical steps for responding responsibly. I encourage you to think critically about mental health content online, avoid self-diagnosis, and seek professional guidance when needed. So the real question that we're left with is not simply we are overdiagnosed or underdiagnosed, but whether we are learning to understand mental health more clearly or confusing information for diagnosis within the digital world that we live in. Thank you.